Alrighty, now we've seen a few different ways of changing the style of our plots and figures. What we might do is change the style again, but from within an existing style. Let's see what that means, because that's kind of confusing when you hear it for the first time. What we might do is come back up here and take this code. Now this is one of the only times we're allowed to copy and paste, because I think we've kind of seen enough for now of writing out this type of Matplotlib style plotting. So we'll come right down, because what we're focused on now is just checking out how to change the style from within a style. So if we go here, now what we want to do is we want to, at the top of this cell, we've probably already set it above, but I'm going to reset the style. So plot.style, use, and I want Seaborn white grid. That's the style we're going to stick with for the time being. Set the style. Wonderful. Now, we've created our over 50 data frame up before. That's the heart disease patients that are over 50. And this is going to plot out a scatter graph with this data. It's already got some customization, a legend, and a horizontal line. So let's see what this looks like with the white grid style. Just for a quick refresh, we'll go back up. This is what it looks like. This is the original one. We've just copied the code from this cell. And so we're going to come down. Take a quick snapshot of that in your mind, and we're going to see what the Seaborn version looks like. So let's hit Shift-Enter. Okay, so a little bit different. We've got the white grid. That makes sense because we're using Seaborn white grid. But these colors, I think the line's a different color. It's red now, and these dots are black and white by default. What happens if you say, I like the Seaborn white grid style, but I don't really like these colors that it's putting out? Well, as you might have guessed, the beautiful thing is Matplotlib, it's got a whole bunch of different colors, and we can change up the colors. So if we go in here, there's a little parameter called CMap, which stands for color map. And there's a whole bunch of different styles. I've kind of explored them myself. I personally like winter or summer. You're thinking, Daniel, this is seasons. All it's going to mean is that this changes the color scheme. And let's see what happens. Beautiful. So now our black and white dots are of a wintry color scheme. You can tell the difference a lot more than just pure black and white. Now, if we have a look, if we go to, I believe it's Matplotlib colors tutorial. Now, this should show the Matplotlib documentation, where you can see a whole bunch of different colors. If we go here, Control F, so colors, that's what we're after. Choosing color maps in Matplotlib. So again, there's a lot of information here. If we go down, so it's got some different patterns here. If we keep going down, you'll start to see, if you type in this as a string, plasma, let's see what happens here. That's going to change the color map. So let's go back to our notebook. We might type in plasma. Okay, so it's changed it back. I personally prefer winter. You can also do summer. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's all right, but still I think winter's my favorite. I've had a practice with these C maps. There we go, that looks great. But this is in the Matplotlib documentation, so tutorials/colors/color maps. And you can keep scrolling down. There's a whole bunch here. If you just wanted green and blue, or if you just wanted blue and purple, you can use these little color codes, PU, BU for blue and purple, or yellow, green, blue. We'll keep going. There's actually quite a few, right? So it's all about experimenting and trying to figure out which colors you personally prefer, or which colors best demonstrate what you're trying to show in your Matplotlib plot. But this line over here, that's not really offering much. So let's check out how we can kind of constrain our plot to certain widths and certain heights on the different axis values using xlim and ylim. Let's grab our double-sided plot from before, our subplot. We'll grab that code. Again, this is one of the only times you're allowed to copy and paste code because there's quite a lot of it. So to save time writing it out, we'll bring down the graph because what we're focused on is customizing the Y and X axis limitations. We'll put that down there. So now we've just copied and pasted the code. Take a snapshot of this one as well. From up here down to here. Now if we run this, it's going to output that subplot that we saw before, but with the default seaborne colors. So what do we have to do? We have to change the CMAP. So let's see it in action. CMAP. Again, this is just in our scatter plot like we've done up here. We've added a CMAP parameter. So we'll do that here. CMAP equals winter. Let's see what happens. Beautiful. That changes axis 0, so the first plot. Now we have to do the same for axis 1. We'll add in CMAP equals winter. Beautiful. We'll go down and have a look. Beautiful. So now we've got two really good looking plots right here. So if we go back to our anatomy of a Matplotlib plot, starting to get really close to what we've got here. But as you can see with ours, we've got this line here, and this one up here. Whereas on here, it's kind of clean. The edge is nice and cut off at 50 there, at 200 up there. So let's see how we would do that. What we're going to do is come back up to our code. And now in the set parameter, we could do it in there, but I'll show you another way of doing it. So we'll customize axis 0 first, just to show you what's going on. Axis 0 dot set ylim to be, what do we want? Yeah, so we want to cut it off at about 50. Let's try that. So set xlim. So we're going to do that 50. Remember, we can always change this. So this is going to be change the x-axis limits. There we go. So let's see what this does. If we go Shift Enter. Beautiful. So now we've cut off that line that was here before. So let's do this just to see what happens. Run. So that's what we've done. We've removed this line because we've changed the X limit of axis 0 to be 50. Remember, both of these are using the same x-axis as age. So let's do it. Let's keep that in there. We'll change that limitation there. We're going to add the same thing to axis 1. We'll put it under here. Change x1 x-axis limits. Oh, we're going to go x1 dot set xlim, and we're going to change that to be, I think it's the same, 50 and 80. Nice and simple. 50, 80. And we're also going to change the Y limit on here to remove this top line to be a flat 200. Maybe we go from 50 to 200 or 60. 60 to 200, I think that'll be a good range. So we'll do that as well. x1.set ylim 60, 200. And let's see what happens. So now take a quick look at what we've got here. We've got this graph, we've got this line here, we've got this one, we've got this line here, and we've got this top line here. So let's see, because we've changed the x-lim and the y-lim of axis 1 and the x-lim of axis 0, hopefully, if we've done it all right, beautiful. That's what we're talking about. So now we've fully replicated the plot that we have here. We've got the exact same thing going on here. We've cleaned up the x-axis, we've changed the color, we've changed the style, and you can't really see it all in one hit. So let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. So that plot is looking pretty darn good. I don't know if you agree or not. Maybe you create your own style, maybe some different colors or something like that. But to me, that looks like something we can share. So that's what we're going to look at in the next video, is saving and sharing this plot. So have a practice around, maybe change the limitations with some different data, or change the style, change the CMAP, and see if you can create your own version of this heart disease analysis.